Alright, hey guys, welcome back to Honesty's channel. Today we're going to talk about what to know about C-sections. Whether your C-section is going to be planned or unexpected, here are a few tips of what you need to know for the delivery and the surgery of your baby. This is my second C-section I'm having. The first was unplanned. It was an emergency C-section due to my daughter Ariana going breech in my tummy. They did try to move her around, and in order to move a baby, they got to put a lot of pressure on the tummy, and it hurts. It hurts so bad, and she didn't even budge. Not at all. So when a baby's breech, that means instead of sitting upside down, like hanging upside down like a bat, they're sitting right side up. So she's like just sitting there in my tummy and wouldn't go back upside down. Doctors don't like to deliver babies that are feet first. They prefer to deliver babies head first. So that's why it's called breech. When you do have a breech pregnancy, then you need to have a C-section or a cesarean surgery. This time around, Henry isn't breech as far as I know. He's fine. But he's kind of like sideways, and eventually he'll be moved downward in the right position. But I opted for unplanned C-section. So my second one is going to be for October 25th, as most of you know. I'm excited about it. It is pretty much a painless delivery when giving birth. Some women want to go through the labor and the intense pain. Other women would like to do labor and have a vaginal birth, but also have medications. But then there's a lot of women who just would rather have a cesarean, whether it's planned or unplanned. So today we're going to talk about what you need to know about C-sections. About a third of all births in the U.S. are cesarean deliveries. And it's pretty common, though the older generation tend to be skeptical about the procedure. It's every woman's body, and everyone can make their own decisions and has their own preferences. So during C-section, a surgical team delivers the baby through the uterus or the abdomen. To make it easier for children to understand, I just say that they take the baby right out of the mommy's tummy. Many of these deliveries are scheduled in advance for medical reasons, like the position of the baby could have gone breech. Many other C-sections can be unplanned and occur after your labor has started. So you might have been planning with a doula to go through labor and did all of the classes, and then all of a sudden, last minute, you have to have a C-section, which can be kind of scary if you don't know what to expect. So that's another good reason to watch videos about it. What to know about scheduled C-sections? If you have a scheduled C-section, you'll be able to discuss your options with your doctor and medical team in advance, which is fantastic. Though traditionally C-section surgery is performed with a curtain separating you from seeing the procedure. So like with my first C-section, there was the blue curtain and I couldn't see anything, which is good because, I didn't even know what was happening, talking to my anesthesiologist with my head like tilted back. And I'm like, so when does this thing start? And they're like, we're done. We already did it and you're all stapled up. And I'm like, what? The baby's out? And the baby was out and I could hold her in my arms. So I didn't even realize. It felt like it only had been a couple minutes, but generally a C-section will take about 20 to 30 minutes for the entire birth to happen. Now, if you choose a labor, it could be hours, it could be days. You don't know how long you're going to be pushing. So, I was stunned that it felt like only a couple minutes. You can ask for a mirror to be held up so you can watch the baby being born, but I didn't have a mirror. I didn't even know what was happening, and it went by so quick. Um, there are some hospitals that allow you to bring music in the room. My hospital room was very surgical. All the all the walls were white, and then there were just like knives and surgery tools. It wasn't like the most comforting room, but I was only in there for a little bit, and then I got moved to my recovery room where I transitioned, and I was able to sleep in my hospital room, which felt more homey with my go-away bags that I packed from home. And there was a TV in my room, so I could watch like Cold Case or whatever that was on at the time. Don't be afraid to ask questions or make requests with your nurses before and after your procedure if you have any concerns. Let's see. For planned cesareans, it's usually advised not to eat or drink for up to 6 to 8 hours before the surgery. And fasting sucks, especially when you have like severe morning sickness that has lasted throughout your entire pregnancy. Most women have morning sicknesses that only last for like a month or in the first trimester, but unfortunately, with my babies, I'm sick all the time. I'm still currently sick in my second trimester, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be sick in my third trimester too, just like I was with our first child. And it sucks, but mostly just nausea and a lot of drooling, collection of saliva in my mouth, and I feel like the milk is helping. You just got to drink a lot of fluids, a lot of milk. So there's that. And then whenever I have to fast, like during the gestational diabetes test and cesarean, it's not easy, but you just got to do it. So prepare to fast for up to 6 to 8 hours. You can also ask your doctor about that if you have any concerns. What to know about an unplanned C-section? So many C-sections occur after labor started due to unforeseen complications, like if you have an infection or concerns about the baby or the mommy. You might end up having an unplanned C-section, even if you thought you were going to give a natural vaginal birth the entire time, and last minute it might change. So you might have an hour or two before surgery, or it might happen even more quickly. It's just good to know all of your options and be prepared for whatever kind of birth that happens. To prep for the C-section, a nurse will give you an IV in your arm, most likely, or your hand, to provide fluid and medication as possible. It's best that you shave down there to make it easier for the surgeon. And if you don't, they're probably going to shave you themselves when you're in the hospital. A catheter will likely be placed into your bladder to collect your urine. It is kind of painful, but it's like a prick, and it doesn't last very long. You will have to keep the catheter in pretty much the whole time you're in the hospital. So for like the first couple days, like depending upon if it's like 1 or 3 days, then you'll have that in. But then after like a day or two, you might even forget it's there. And then the doctor will remove it when you're about to get ready to go home and bring your child back home with you. In order to take a child back from the hospital when you give birth, you do need to have your car seat prepared and know how to install your car seat. So a nurse will help bring you down, whether you're walking or in a wheelchair, and they will make sure that the baby is safely buckled in and you can bring your bundle of joy home with you. If you're in labor and you've already had an epidural, the surgeon will check and make sure it's properly working. In an emergency, a surgeon might recommend general anesthesia, but most of the time, local anesthesists will be enough. So who's in the room with you during C-section? With my hospital, it was only me and my mom when I gave birth to our daughter, Ariana. But this time around, my husband feels comfortable enough to be in the room with me when I am giving birth to our son. So it's just going to be me, him, and the medical team. The medical team includes the anesthesiologist, our OB, attending physicians, and that's pretty much it. If anyone else would like to see the baby, they can wait in the waiting room, and they can see me after the surgery when we move all of our stuff into our room where we're going to be spending the night for the next couple of nights while I recover. So in the surgery room, the mommy's going to be laying flat down, and my partner or support person or whoever you have as a support person will stand or sit next to you towards your upper part of the body and the head. The anesthesiologist is usually behind your head, so you'll be able to hold your partner's hand or your support person's hand. And then they'll be able to see what's happening during the surgery and be there for you. And we'll probably more be likely to cut the umbilical cord and hold the baby immediately after the delivery if you like. If you prefer to be the first one to hold the baby, it's your preference. And you can also write a birthing plan beforehand and tell the doctors all of your preferences. Once you get to the hospital, you're probably going to have to do another plan, a birthing plan, and oh, I'm totally blanking right now. Like a plan in case anything goes wrong, like you die or something. But don't be scared, you know. You just always have to do that when you're having surgery. You have to have these sort of plans. But we'll come back to that later. What happens during a C-section delivery? It's not as painful as giving labor. You might feel some pressure and tugging as the surgeon makes the incision in your tummy, your abdomen, and uterus, and delivers your baby. Depending on the hospital where you deliver, you may or may not see the baby being delivered. But that's totally fine. If you would rather have the blue sheet covering you, or you want a mirror, all preferences, just talk to your doctor about that. Assuming that you and your baby are doing okay, the doctor will hand you the baby or the baby off to your partner with your preference. So if you had an epidural and you're feeling comfortable moving your upper body, you'll most likely be able to hold the baby right away. Because when they give you the epidural or the shot that's like a little stronger, they do it in your spine, in your back. So you're going to be numb pretty much from like the chest down. But you'll be able to like still move your mouth and talk and breathe. So you're not completely put under. And which is surprising, the first time I had a baby, I was surprised I wasn't put under like completely. I was coherent. I knew what was happening. I just didn't know that the baby was being cut out right away because I didn't feel the pain at all. But I was aware that I was going to have a baby. But in some cases, you might have to wait for the anesthesia to wear off, but not as much. If you plan to breastfeed, let your medical team know, and they'll be able to put the baby right to your breast right away. And this helps mothers whom breastfeed bond with their children. I've been told I did that with my first child, our daughter, but I was unable to produce breast milk. So this time around, I'm not even going to try. My breasts aren't filled with milk or colostrum. So we're going to give the baby, our son, formula, just like my daughter had formula after my failed attempts of breastfeeding. And so everything is all about the mom, her preferences, and every woman is different, and it's every woman's own body. So I hope this helped prepare you and give you a little more knowledge about C-sections and cesareans. And if you're planning on having a cesarean or if you're going to have an unexpected one, just keep these tips in mind and have a wonderful birthing experience. This has been Honesty's channel. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos.